Supertrend is the trend indicator most traders trust completely and follow right off a cliff. And this is the version that actually protects you. Let me guess. You added it, it turned green, you bought, and 4 candles later, it flipped red, and you were out for a loss you did not see coming. Maybe more than once. The indicator did nothing wrong. You were using the flip as a trigger, when it was only ever built to be a filter. No new tool to buy, no complicated setup, no guessing. 3 rules. And the third one is the exact reason most Supertrend traders quietly lose money in the one market condition where it should be protecting them. By the end, you will have all 3. And do not skip ahead to the entry, because the third rule changes whether you even take the trade in the first place. So let's start with what this thing actually is, because the mechanic decides everything that follows. Supertrend plots one single line on your chart. When the market is trending up, that line sits below price, acting like a floor. When the market turns down, the same tool flips the line above price, acting like a ceiling. Price above the line, you are looking at an uptrend. Price below it, a downtrend. Simple, visual, impossible to misread at a glance. That single quality is exactly why so many traders lean on it so heavily. There is no squinting at 2 lines to see which one crossed which, no separate panel below your chart to interpret. One color, one line, one glance. And in a market that is genuinely trending hard, it looks almost magical. It keeps you in the whole move and stays quiet the entire way. That same simplicity is also what makes it so easy to trust blindly, which is precisely the trap we are fixing today. Under the hood, that line is built from something called average true range, a measurement of how much a market typically moves from one candle to the next. Instead of sitting a fixed distance from price, the line sits a certain multiple of that typical movement away, which means it automatically breathes with whatever you put it on. A wild, fast-moving stock earns itself a wider line. A calm, quiet one gets a tighter one. That adaptiveness is the entire appeal, and it is worth understanding why it beats a plain moving average here. A moving average sits at a fixed kind of distance regardless of how calm or violent the market has been lately. It does not know the difference between a quiet Tuesday and an earnings gap. Supertrend does. Think of it like a bodyguard walking behind you at a distance that changes with how fast the crowd around you is moving. Tight and close in a calm room. Further back the moment things get chaotic. Same job, smarter spacing. Picture 2 completely different weeks on the same chart. In the first, the market barely moves. Small, quiet candles, day after day. The line sits close to price because there is nothing violent for it to account for. Now picture the second week. Right after some piece of news nobody expected. Candles get huge. The line automatically steps back, giving the new volatility room to breathe, instead of getting clipped by every wild swing the way a fixed distance tool would. Same market, same indicator, 2 completely different personalities, because the tool is reading the room instead of guessing. One thing before we go further. Before we get into it, there's a free trading guide linked in the description. Grab it, it'll sharpen everything you're about to learn. Rule 1. There are exactly 2 settings on this indicator, and both of them matter. So let's take them one at a time. The first is the length. How many candles that average movement calculation looks back over. The second is the factor, sometimes labeled the multiplier. How many multiples of that typical movement the line sits away from price. Together, those 2 numbers decide one single outcome: how far the line sits from price, and therefore, how quickly it flips. Shrink either number and the line hugs price tighter. It flips sooner, which sounds appealing because you get an earlier signal. But tighter also means twitchier. A completely normal pullback inside a healthy trend can be enough to flip it, and you get stopped into a loss right before the real move continues on without you. Widen either number, and the line sits further back. It flips later, so you give up a slice of the early move, but it survives the kind of normal noise that would have shaken out the tighter version. Fewer signals, more of them real. Let me test you on this, because it trips up almost everyone. 2 versions of the same indicator, same chart. Version 1 flips 9 times in a single afternoon. Version 2 flips once and holds steady for 3 days straight. Which one is set correctly? Neither, necessarily. And that is the actual lesson. 9 flips in an afternoon says the settings are too tight for how that particular market moves. You are trading noise, not trend. But holding for 3 days is not automatically better either. If that market genuinely reverses hard on day 2, a setting that's slow leaves you holding a dead trade while it happens. The right setting is not a fixed number you copy from a video. It is whichever one matches how much the thing you are actually trading tends to move, and how much of that movement you are willing to sit through before you want to know. And here is a small but genuinely useful distinction between the two settings, because they do not do quite the same job. The length changes how far back the tool looks to measure typical movement. Adjust that when you want a fundamentally different read on how this market has been behaving lately. The factor changes how much breathing room you give price around that same measurement, without changing what it is measuring. If the line feels roughly right, but flips just a touch too often, nudge the factor up first before you touch the length. You are giving the same read a little more room to be wrong, rather than changing the read itself. Rule 2, and this is where almost everyone gets hurt. The flip is not the trade. The flip is permission to start looking for one. Here is why that distinction carries real weight. The moment the line changes color, that is confirmation that something already happened. Price already moved, and that move is what caused the flip. If you buy the instant it turns green, you are buying after the move that created your signal, which means you are already a little late, and your stop has to sit a long way below you, back near wherever the flip actually occurred. Instead, treat the flip as nothing more than a direction. Green means you now have permission to look for buys. Red means the same for sells. Then you wait for price to do the thing trending markets naturally do on their way up. Pull back toward the line itself. When it touches that line and shows a reaction, a small rejection, a moment of hesitation before continuing, that is your actual entry, not the flip that happened candles earlier. And here is the detail that makes this indicator genuinely useful beyond simply telling you which way to lean. The line's current value doubles as your stop loss. Not a number you calculate separately off to the side, not a guess. The exact price already printed right there on your chart. If price closes cleanly through that line, the entire premise behind your trade is dead, because the tool itself just told you the trend broke. You are out, small and defined, using the very same line that got you in. Look at the shape that gives you before you have even placed the trade. Your risk, from the pullback entry down to the line sitting just beneath it, is naturally small, because that is exactly where the line was already hugging price. Your reward, up toward the next swing high, is usually a good deal larger. You get that favorable shape almost automatically, simply by refusing to chase the flip and waiting for the pullback instead. So, two settings that trade an earlier signal against a false one. A flip that hands you direction, never a trigger. An entry on the pullback, with your stop already sitting on the chart before you even take the trade. That is genuinely useful. And on its own, it will still get you chopped up, because everything so far quietly assumes every single flip deserves the same amount of trust. It does not. Some flips are the first candle of a real sustained trend. Others are a market about to whipsaw you straight back through the line within a candle or two of the flip happening. Nothing in the first two rules tells you, in the moment, which one you are actually looking at. That is Rule 3, the one almost nobody checks before they take the trade. And it is exactly where we are going next. Rule 3. Check whether the market's typical movement is expanding or shrinking at the exact moment the line flips, because that one detail decides whether the flip is a trend starting or a trap closing. Remember what actually drives this whole indicator. That average movement measurement, the same one deciding how far the line sits from price. It does not stay fixed. It rises when candles get bigger and more violent, and it shrinks when the market goes quiet and tight. And that rising or falling, right at the moment of a flip, tells you something the color change alone cannot. A flip that happens while that typical movement is genuinely rising, candles visibly getting bigger, more decisive, more spread out, is a flip backed by real energy entering the market. Something changed, and the size of the candles is proving it. Those are the flips worth trusting. A flip that happens while everything is still small, tight, and quiet is a different animal entirely. The line crossed price on a technicality, a minor wiggle inside a market that has not actually woken up yet. Those flips reverse constantly, because there was never any real force behind them to begin with. That is the whipsaw, and it is almost always born from a flip inside a quiet, unremarkable stretch of candles. You do not need a second indicator to see this. You are already looking at it. Glance at the candles immediately before and after the flip. Are they visibly larger than what came before? Or are they the same small size as the quiet stretch that led into it? Growing candles at the flip? Lean in. Same tired little candles? Let it prove itself before you risk anything on it. Let me test you on this one too, because it is easy to know the rule and still miss it in the moment. Picture 10 small, quiet candles in a row, barely moving. Then the line flips. The very next candle is small too, same size as everything before it. Do you trust that flip? Not yet. Nothing changed except the color. Now picture the same 10 quiet candles, the same flip. But this time the next candle is twice the size of anything that came before it, and the one after that is bigger again. That is an entirely different signal. Even though the flip itself looked identical on your screen a moment earlier. The color told you a direction. The size of what came right after told you whether to believe it. And if you are ever genuinely unsure whether the expansion is real, or you are just talking yourself into a trade you want to take, there is a simple tiebreaker. Compare the very next candle after the flip to the largest candle from the quiet stretch before it. If it is clearly bigger than even the biggest candle in that quiet run, that is real expansion. If it is roughly the same size or smaller, it is not, no matter how badly you want it to be. Let the comparison decide, not your enthusiasm for the setup. Now let's put all 3 rules to work in an actual trade, start to finish. First, confirm your settings are tuned to whatever you are trading. Per Rule 1, you are not fighting the tool's own noise before you even begin. Second, wait for the flip, and treat it purely as direction. Per Rule 2, do not touch it yet. Third, check the candles around that flip for genuine expansion. Per Rule 3, if they are still small and quiet, you wait for more proof. If they are visibly larger, you lean in and move to the entry. The entry is the pullback to the line. Price runs briefly after the flip, then eases back toward it. You wait for a reaction there, a small rejection wick, a candle that pokes at the line and closes back away from it. That reaction is your trigger, not the touch itself. Your stop is the line's current value, exactly as it sits on your chart at the time you enter. If price closes straight through it, the trend this whole trade depended on has broken, and you are out for a small, defined, and completely pre-planned loss. Your target is the most recent swing point in your direction, the prior high on a buy, the prior low on a sell, a price the market already proved it could reach once, which makes it a reasonable place to expect it might reach again. One practical note on timing the entry itself: do all of your checking, the flip, the settings, whether the candles are genuinely expanding, on the time frame you actually trade. But when you are simply waiting for the pullback to touch the line and show its reaction, it is perfectly fine to drop to a faster time frame just to catch that exact candle a little earlier. Your main chart tells you whether the trade exists at all. The faster one just helps you time the moment you actually click. Let me walk one through exactly as it would happen, start to finish. The market has been drifting quietly for a while. Small, tight, unremarkable candles. Nothing worth watching. Your settings are already tuned for how this particular chart tends to move, so you are not fighting your own noise. Then the line flips green. You do not touch anything yet. You look at what happens immediately after the flip, and the candles get noticeably bigger, pushing away with real conviction, each one a little larger than the last. Rule 3 just passed. There is genuine force behind this move, not a technicality. Price runs hard for a stretch, then eases back down toward the green line beneath it. You drop to a faster time frame just to watch that touch closely. It arrives, pokes into the line, and prints a small rejection wick before closing back up. That is your entry. Your stop goes at the line's value in that exact moment, already sitting on the chart, nothing to calculate. Your target sits at the swing high made just before this pullback started, a level the market already proved it could reach once. If price runs to target, you collect several times what you risked. If it closes back through your stop, you are out small, and you walk away knowing the exit was legitimate. The trend genuinely broke, rather than you guessing wrong on a coin flip. Now, the mistake that undoes almost everyone who has learned all 3 rules and still loses money with this tool: trading the flip the instant it happens, on every single signal, regardless of what the candles around it actually look like. It is tempting because the flip is right there, obvious, colorful, demanding a decision. But the flips worth taking are the small minority that pass all 3 checks: settings that fit the market, a pullback instead of a chase, and real expansion in the candles at the moment it happened. Everyone who trades every flip is trading mostly noise, and noise is exactly what this indicator was built to filter out, not generate. There is a second, quieter version of the same mistake worth naming. Once a trend is clearly established and running, some traders start re-entering on every minor pullback, treating each little dip back to the line as a fresh trade. A handful of those are genuinely fine, but a trend that has already run a long way is closer to its next reversal than its start, and every one of those late re-entries is happening with less room left before the move is done. The setup that worked beautifully near the beginning of a trend is not automatically the same setup late into it. Respect Rule 3 at the start of a trend, and respect simple fatigue the further into it you go. So here is the whole method, beginning to end. Tune the two settings to match what you are trading. Treat the flip as permission, never a trigger. Confirm the candles are actually expanding before you trust it. Enter on the pullback, stop at the line, target the prior swing. What could that realistically do for you? Let's use arithmetic instead of a promise. Say those 3 filters leave you with 2 genuinely clean setups a week. You risk $150 on each, and you win a little over half of them at 2.5 times your risk. That is roughly $375 won against maybe $150 lost across 2 trades. Call it $200 clear in a normal week. So somewhere near $800 a month to start, growing with your account and your consistency. A filter used with discipline, not a shortcut. And here is where we go next. Supertrend tells you when a trend is confirmed and worth trusting, but there is a tool that catches a trend even earlier, right as momentum first starts building, before the flip ever prints. So the next video breaks that down completely. I'll see you there.